you need to unmute yourself. Or Mike, can you unmute Keith?
There, how we go.
Okay.
Paul.
He lost his opportunity. Go to another square. You only have 5 seconds to ask a question. No. Oh, go ahead.
So, Paul, is the action figure and the seat assignment the same thing? How are they related in the mythology of Zen Islam?
The thing that needs a seat is an action figure. He needs to put his ass somewhere. Says that's the seat assignment.
What determines the changes in seat assignments? What are some of the factors over time?
I have no idea, but hopefully you'll observe it. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we're not 2 levels below a coconut. We should be able to see things have changed. Yeah.
Well, what is a seat assignment? I mean, in the story,
seat assignment is like what I'm doing now, or where I'm sitting now. Yes. This wasn't planned. All I did was have a gift of gab, and in recovery was put to use. And then we made the big mistake of putting a website out, and then people from other types of groups got in touch with me, and here we are. Yeah. Yeah. So basically, it's your seat assignment. In other words, it's not yours. It's more like I see it as a musical chair type seat assignment. Yeah. So life takes you, and then suddenly the music stops, and you're in front of a chair, and then everyone sits down. The chair doesn't have your name on it. Yeah. The music starts playing again, and no matter how many times you stop at the same chair, it's never your chair. Yeah. So that's what I feel like. So it's just a nice way of attempting to, let's say a purpose has you, you don't have a purpose.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and it's pretty easy to tell by who's around you and where your feet are. Like that's the seat assignment for the day. Yeah. Yeah.
Good. Got it. Thank you, Paul.
It's not like a seat assignment on a plane. You can't buy a first class ticket and then expect to sit up there, and then all of us go back and to the back. The seat assignment isn't. It's not regulated. Yeah. I mean, some of the most, let's say, competent people aren't used for certain seat assignments. Yeah. Just look at Zen Bitch Slap, really. I mean, literally. Very, very damaged, an extremely damaged good. And, something put it to use, really.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It was funny. I just use that term. A lady named Magnolia shared one time years ago, and I stole it from her because I liked it. I liked the feeling that, again, a purpose having you and then your purpose are totally different. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Got it.
Owned. If the purpose is owned, then a lot of meaning is given to it. Yes. And then an identity can sort of grow like in the surrounding area of the seat assignment, so to speak. But seeing it as just where you're at and how you're being used doesn't lend itself to any kind of taking a position. Yeah. So basically, it's your seat assignment, but the music could start at any time, and then you get up and move somewhere else, maybe, or you may end up at the same seat. Who knows? But yeah.
Got it. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's
okay,
it.
good.
And the action figure is really what you are. Doesn't have an ass. Yeah. So it doesn't need a seat. So basically.
Good. Thank you, brother.
The seat assignment always is also inferring about the body identity, that your little action figure has a role here. And it's not up to you to know that, really. You just get intimations, yeah? But just it just allows an easier showing up without a giant narrative around it. Yeah, you just show up. Yeah, things occur. Then
Yeah.
more things occur. More things occur. Yet, it's sort of like all those, like cuts of movies pasted together on a big screen, but the big screen is really the only fact, so to speak. Yeah. So, yeah. Yeah. So that's how I see it today, anyway.
Good.
Yeah. And we're using words. I feel communication works best with images, imagery. Yeah. If, like they say, a picture's worth more than 1,000 words. Yeah. So there's a seat assignment explains a lot, really, doesn't it? Simple little way of saying what you may call your destiny is, or your person, you know what I mean, or fate. Yeah. Maybe it's just a seat assignment on a plane that never goes anywhere. Who knows? I don't.
It sits. It might be sitting on the tarmac for a long time.
It could. Yeah, they may be running a movie as if you're going somewhere. So you never leave the tarmac, but there's a movie about being in Thailand. So the narrative is you went to Thailand, but you never left the plane.
Basically, there's a woman who's been telling me how to use my seatbelt for about 40 years now.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. And you better hope she gets another seat assignment.
Okay, Paul, thank you.
You're welcome. Good to see you. Yeah.
Good to see you too. Stay well.
We have a little idea of a gift, Keith. We were going to do a little gift for Keith. Can I put Keith back on?
Yeah, I'm back. No,
We were going to leave you one of our great lattes in our backyard. We will make the coffee with gloves on. It will be in a nondescript little coffee cup. I may have gotten out of the recycling. I don't know. But we'll sanitize it. And we'll leave you, and you can sit in our beautiful backyard by yourself, have a little coffee, leave a tip, I hope.
Well, I got it. Those who don't know, this has happened before. And I have actually thought of an excuse to come down there to bring you guys something in hopes that I might get to sit in the backyard and have a latte. So we're on the same page.
Well, there you go. So it's in the planning stage. We'll see what happens.
I'll bring you some more of that soup that my Mexican restaurant owner makes.
You could win me over that way, yeah. All right, bro.
Have a fair trade. Okay.
All right.
And Sean's got his hand up.
Sean.
Hi, Paul. Hi.
Oh, Sean.
Yeah, man.
Is this Sean number one? Sean number two?
Sean number one, man.
Oh, Sean number one. All right.
Okay. I've been watching you for some time now, and
hopefully on the video, not out, not through my window. So.
No.
All right. Good.
Okay.
Oh, there you
are.
Yeah.
What is inherently available at all times when you say that?
Well, you'll sort of get a sense of it by realizing what's not always available at all times.
Okay. Yeah.
So just see all that is machinated and manufactured and goes on and on and on. And in seeing you're not that, that's a sense of what's always there. Yeah. But there's no point. Yeah, there's no point to try to explain to what's not here about what's always here. I just rather just explain to what's always here about what's not here, to tell you the truth. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. It's just before I like really started watching you with a sort of real keen ear. I'd been listening to non-duality for about 5 years, and I've been on retreats and stuff, so I was quite familiar with not really a practice, but a kind of methodology of a certain teacher's way of framing his teaching, basically. And I see familiarities between what you say and what he says, but you say it in a lot less words, and it's a lot easier to understand. Now, would you say that, okay, let's just say that you were working for a spiritual mafia, and the Godfather, who is the Buddha, said, go and send Sean a message, and I want you to tune him up a bit first, right? So the tuning him up would be the bitch slap. So you'd run into me and then give me a great big bitch slap, and then say, listen, now without referring to the Course in Miracles or any quotes from any sages, what would be the shortest, directest thing that you could say that would get the boss's message over, so to speak?
You may need another one.
Well, yeah, okay, I've
That's
had
not
that.
for you. That's for the boss, because you is the Buddha, Sean.
Okay.
You's
Okay.
the Buddha that sent this out to slap Sean, not to
Yeah.
wake Sean up. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But to get something through to the Buddha. You're the Buddha. Yeah. Like a
Okay.
great Zen master says, and I'm gonna use a quote after I slapped you. But I like slapping. I may come back and slap you again. But you can't use the Buddha to seek the Buddha. Yeah. Now, you can't use light to seek light. You can't use mind to seek mind. That wasn't a statement that was only for that one moment in time, at a certain setting, in a certain situation, with a certain person. That's a basic fact. Yeah. That the Buddha can't use himself to find himself or itself or whatever you want to call it. It's just a fact. Yeah. The only way the Buddha could obscure itself is by looking for itself. Yeah. Because the only way it would look for itself is by taking itself to be something else. Yeah. Yeah. So, and then he doesn't let you out of that little hold. He says you can't use mind to seek mind. You can't use light to seek light. So maybe 3 popular ways of pointing out to what is. Yeah. He covers all 3 of them: Buddha, mind, light. And he says the exact same thing. You can't use Buddha to seek the Buddha. You can't use mind to seek the mind. You can't use light to seek the light. Why is that? Because you are the Buddha, you are mind, and you are light. Now, why would the Buddha be looking for the Buddha? It must believe, seemingly, it's appearing to it that it's something else. And from that something else, it makes a whole lot of sense to do stuff to try to find the mind, the light, and the Buddha. But unbeknownst to the Buddha at that moment, he's using it himself to find himself. And that's the dilemma. Yeah.
Okay.
And in this example, we aren't Paul, we are the Buddha. We are light, we are mind. Now, if you weren't the Buddha, yeah, then that message wouldn't have been directed at you. It was only directed at the Buddha. Bill doesn't need to know you can't use the Buddha to seek the Buddha, because Bill thinks it's Bill, yeah? And Bill's going to use Buddhism to seek the Buddha, yes? This is what's going to happen. And it's going to make total sense to Bill. But this statement is Bill, aka the Buddha, yeah? So no matter how much Bill is Bill, it's still Buddha. And Bill can't use the Buddha to seek the Buddha because it's the Buddha, yeah? That's the message. That's the freaking message.
I get that. I get that. The way that I've been taught it is you're not the doer. Okay? Which
Yeah, but who heard that? I'm not gonna. I don't care about the other people. I'm just and I'm sharing what they're sharing probably. Yeah. Thanks,
right. Yeah.
I want to point out. I don't want to say to what thinks it's the doer, it's not a doer. I don't. It doesn't go anywhere. Yeah. I want to speak to what you are, which has never fucking done anything. Yeah. Right. Hey, that you're not a doer. It knows quite well it's not a doer. Then it looks at what thinks it's a doer and sees it's not you. Yeah. That's the direction. Now, I never say to anyone, you're not the doer. I don't. I get there, but I don't say it because I know what's hearing the message is programmed as a doer. And now it's going to try to do itself into non-doing. It doesn't work well. I don't see it, yeah? So the direction is important in this case, because I think the primary problem we're having is not that we can find the Buddha, is that we're using the Buddha, yeah? We're under a false identification, seemingly, and we are really exactly what we're looking for. Yeah. Now, if that's the case, if you are already what you're looking for, then looking for it is not going to work. Yeah. So let's see what's looking for it. And this what's looking for it isn't going to stop what's looking for it. It's not. But you can see you're not that. You're not that which is looking. Yeah. Yeah. You're not that which is looking for it. That's to me is the clearest available non-way way. I sat in satsangs and stuff, and I heard descriptions of what I was. But all the while, what was claiming to be hearing the message about what I was what I wasn't, unbeknownst to me, until it dawned on it. Yeah. Now I'm here. I humbly feel some of the seed assignment is really about warning other people on the fucking plane. Yeah. That's all. You know. That's all. Because I thought it would have been nice if I would have heard it myself.
Yeah. No, I get you, and you're exactly right. The reason I'm turned on to you is, onto your message is because as trying to not be a doer, I was doing myself into all kinds of
exactly.
Mistakes.
That's see, the person who's talking is the circumstantial evidence to the point. Yeah. I mean, I have been at talks. This one in Germany was great. Every person who got up and asked a question illustrated exactly what we were trying to point out. Exactly. It was unbelievable. He could have posted it on a book, like a illustrated book of 12 pages, and I would have gotten the message across beautifully. Yeah. Someone says, oh, I just nonchalantly look at, the awareness all day and this and that. And I said, well, yeah, but who is that's nonchalantly looking at the awareness? You didn't catch that, yeah? You got the nonchalantly looking at what's arising, but there was still a someone that was being inferred, yeah? To take a step back. You're not that which is nonchalantly looking at, what's arising. Hallelujah, yeah?
Okay,
I feel like if it's sort of like, let's say if there was like the quickest dance to get to where you want to go, it still had like 2 steps. Yeah. I just, let's take out one of those steps. Yeah. Don't like, all right, I'm hearing all I am is consciousness, and yet I'm hearing it framed as a body. It doesn't go anywhere. Yeah? Unless you're aware of it, then it can, that thievery can still occur, yet it doesn't leave the house with anything of value. It's not about stopping it, it's about seeing through it. Yeah. It's mechanical.
But what sees through it though? Because what sees
What's
you could
through it, find out. Find out what sees through it. And
No.
when you get a sense of it, it may be like an unspoken yes.
Okay.
Yeah. You won't be looking for any more answers of what it is. You realize that is the most pointless response to a sense of it.
Okay.
Truly.
So
Yeah. You just
see,
there's like a, in a way, we're so wound up, we don't know what it's like to stop. We don't. If there was a real pause, you wouldn't need any authority to tell you it was a real pause. There would be an intimate sensing. Yeah. And hopefully all the chips will be moved from the other squares and put on that, and then see how it pays off over time. Yeah.
yeah. You know, I must say though, I can hear what you're saying, but I can imagine myself a couple of years ago, I would have struggled because it would have almost seemed like I would have be having to take a tremendous amount of faith or trust in what you're saying, because you know, because obviously you're so intimate with that character that you've projected that, well,
See, but that's again coming from the character. You see that?
okay,
The character reinforces its own relevance.
yeah,
You're not finding an unbiased relevance. That which is speaking is defending itself. Yeah.
yeah.
Because again, you're coming from what you're not, in a sense. Yeah. What you're
Okay,
not
you
sees
can
it as
see that.
impossible not to be what it is. Yeah. It does.
Right, Paul.
What
Paul,
you're not,
you can see that, yeah. You can see that in me, okay. But I can't see that because I, to some extent, think I'm a bit of both. I'm a bit of the true, the true you, and the image you've created. You know, there's like a sort of joining. That's what it feels like. Is sometimes I have hits of no thought, and then I start thinking, and I claim it just as you say. You know, as soon as you think you've discovered something, there's a claiming of it. I've heard you say. I think I've heard you say that. And
it's not your claiming of it. It's a claiming of it. Yes.
yeah, there's a claiming of it.
The claiming of it uses whatever it claimed to imply a you.
Yeah.
That's the mechanism, and you can see it. And after, all it does is present a you.
Yeah.
It takes a certain sense of believing and having faith in that presentation for the A to drop, and now it's you. And then in advanced cases, which is every one of us, that you gets crowned as me. And now you're really up the ass of self, so to speak.
Okay, I hear you loud and clear then. So, I mean, okay, so just to see then that you are not that, and just relax basically, and just to not get involved, and just to see
No. Just stay with the first part. There's no order of just relax. You'll find out there's been a relaxation. Yeah, just the first part. That's all. And none of the rest has anything to do with what you're not. Yeah, you'll find out. You'll see. you're on to something, you'll know. Yeah.
Okay, so my first question was,
A
no, listen, no, this is the,
whole
I,
year's worth
I,
of questions. All
no,
right.
I said, sorry, man, sorry, I don't mean to take up too much time.
That's
It's
all
just
right,
that,
Sean. I like,
okay, it's just,
but it's running
okay,
out.
yeah, I said, uh, what is available at all times? Now, I thought you were saying that this seeing is available at all times. You know, the
Yeah,
direct, yeah,
yeah. Awareness, whatever you want to call it, is available at all times with no requirement necessary to meet it. Where it's like the fish in the ocean. The
yeah,
fish, because it's completely always been in the ocean, probably doesn't know it's wet. And the mental state could probably convince it that it's very dry, and it could be going to how to get wet classes in the ocean, really. Yeah. Unbeknownst that it's so drenched, it doesn't have an experience of being wet. It's beyond experience. It's wet, period.
yeah,
Yeah. It's not an experience of being, it's being. It's different, totally different. Yeah. That being is always available at all times, right where you are. The experience of being, well, that's another story. Or the
yeah,
experience
that,
of
yeah,
wetness, yeah. We're so out to lunch, we've got to freaking, jump off a bridge and hit the water super hard. Oh, I was wet today. It was incredible. All the while we're drenched. So this is the point, You don't believe me. I'm just throwing out an invitation and attempting to sort of reverse engineer why that invitation can't be had by you or I, because there's a sheep program that arises so quickly where the lion seems to be, it misdirects the message you're a lion. It diverts it. And so the lion doesn't get that it's a lion. It gets a story, I can become like a lion. Yeah. Which, what does that do? Then all the moments you work at trying to become like a lion further the identification as a sheep. That's the diagnosis. If it fits, wear it. If it doesn't fit, it will sooner or later, hopefully.
okay, I'll just,
I can't change the shoe size. Yeah. I'm just putting out shoes, spiritual shoes. If they fit, wear them. If they don't fit, they will later. So, I mean, I'm not trying. It's not like every year there's a new style of shoe. It's the same shoe. There's like, what's new in non-duality 2020? Nothing. There's nothing new in non-duality. So basically, you're going to get nothing, and then hopefully nothing will trigger whatever, and then hopefully it will lead as a byproduct, Sean, the action figure, to travel lighter. Because the action figure somewhere along the way realized it can't produce that. Yeah, but it can express it. It can observe it, but it can't produce the lightness. It's in itself, it's trying to produce the lightness is the heaviness. You got to get that's not a random thing. That's the contours of the Chinese thumb puzzle. Yeah, you're in it. That's why.
Okay,
Now,
man, I'll just say,
if you're not convinced, what the hell? I mean, I think
no,
every one of us has ample evidence after you get a couple of clues to see what's going on. The seeing is still there. Nothing's touched that. Yeah, that's the only requirement, is the seeing of what you're not. That's all. There's not much requirement. You already have the requirement met. You are seeing. So, all right, but I'm seeing for what I can find and see and touch and taste. I'm not seeing what I'm not. I'm not. It's not usually we are all day, but it's not triggering the acknowledgement or the what? Yeah. So this hopefully is just a little primer, a little push, a little like couple of drops of gas in the carburetor, so that if you turn the key, the car will start. You don't need that much more gas. It runs. If you pour a lot of gas in, it's going to flood the car. Yeah. So come back next week. We'll put a couple of drops of gas in anymore. I want it to stabilize and I want it all. Well, if I put a gallon of gas in, it's going to flood it. What's the point? The point is traveling lighter. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Here, I mean, in the action figure world.
Yeah. Listen, it's just I'm
We're
so.
going to move on.
No. I'm just saying a thank you. I appreciate the message and everything, and I really thank you, because I'm just so wound up, so tight with this, all these concepts and stuff. It's refreshing to hear your message, and I'll keep with it. Okay, thanks so much.
Please, thank you. And you know, knowing it or not, you're now a lifetime member of Zen Bitch Slap. So
Yeah, good.
Yeah. All right, so there you go. It's a
Okay.
done deal.
Yes.
All right, another question? That was great, though.
Hi, Paul. Can I just go ahead?
I guess so. Who's this?
Mary.
Mary.
Is this okay, or did you have a lineup?
Drew has his hand up, and then
Sorry.
you know how to do your hand, Mary, but we'll keep track of you anyway.
We'll get you, Mary, in a little bit.
Okay, Drew, I'm gonna unmute you.
Okay, thank you. Hey, Paul, have you submitted your story to the big book?
No. No.
Okay.
I think my story's in the big book.
No way.
I think there's the one story fits thousands and thousands and thousands of action figures. I don't know. Where's Drew? I lost him.
I'm still here.
I'm just trying to find you in a square. I'm missing you. So yeah, I think the action figure found his story, which was a very shared story by many action figures. Yeah. Yeah, that's it.
That's it.
I'm here missing something. Hey, Mike, is there a question or?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought Drew was still going, but no. Okay. I don't see another hand.
didn't hear-
Mary, do you want to go ahead? Mary?
Who wants to go? Hey, Drew, did you hear me?
Yeah, I heard
Yeah.
you, Paul.
Oh,
All
hi.
right, good. Good.
Okay, go ahead, Mary.
Hi, Paul. Hi. Yes, so my question, Course in Miracles. I've been a student for, a long time, and in the program. So I love your, when you talk about the course and the steps. The question I have is prayer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the course is filled with prayers, and I was going to a teacher for several years, and I mean, my sobriety, I believe, was possible because I prayed, at that time. I mean, the course talks about the ladder of prayer. So I'm not sure who's praying when I'm praying, and it's sort of my whole spiritual longing has been rooted in prayer my whole life. And so but this teacher that I had, basically, I got the message that kind of what you're saying, that it was like I was split. She said, like, you don't need to pray, you are that. I'm praying to myself, kind of thing, right? So I just get confused because the course is full of prayer. And yeah, so that's my question.
Yeah, but let's say prayer, and this is in time, yes? We're in time, yeah, in the dreaming. There's this quality of time. So at one point, and many points maybe for your little action figure, yeah, story to dream itself out of the dream. And as it does, the dream will get happier. Well, maybe prayer was one of the methodologies. What you are was dreaming itself out of the dream with. But sometimes with things like the prayer and stuff like that, they have expiration dates, yeah? So you get to another point where the prayer, honor it, have a lot of gratitude for it, but it's time to move on maybe, yeah? It was useful, and maybe now it's ran out its usefulness. Yeah, that's what happens a lot. So like in AA, prayer is a big thing. Yeah, but I don't pray anymore. But when I go to meeting, I pray twice that meeting. Yeah, but I don't pray because the prayer was an activity that was taking the place of another possibility. When that possibility grew in fruition, there was no need, yeah, for the prayer. So you're not running your little trajectory, yeah. So yes, so maybe there's another message coming that there could be a resistance to, that there's become a sense of identification as the prayer, let's say, and maybe it's time to move on from that. Yeah. It's not limiting, denying its value. It's saying its usefulness may have expired because conditions have changed, yeah? And those conditions, the conditions that were perfect for the vehicle of prayer may not be in the same place anymore.
Yes. So
I'm talking more about the action figure as it grows out of here.
Yes, yes. So in your experience, Paul, when you, I mean, you woke up, say, like, were you, you've talked a little bit about like that, the transitioning, or the sort of that, and the Course talks about it too, like a time of being unsettled, and just, sort of losing your bearings, say. And so, like, you didn't just go from like sound asleep to wide awake, did you? Was there not like you didn't just go from sound asleep to wide awake? Did you not kind of have to stay in a...
See, this is a tricky thing, because again, this is a narration in the storyline of the action figure. My sense of it now is we're all awake now. We always have been awake. We have never not been awake. And yet, in the dreaming, it can seem to be that you're not awake to that, yeah? It can appear to you that you're not awake, but that doesn't change the fact that you are, yeah? Or it can appear to you that you are awake, and that doesn't change the fact that you are, yeah? They both produce different effects, yeah? Because the fact is the same. So a denial of that fact doesn't excuse that fact. An affirming of that fact brings about a traveling easier, so to speak, yes? Yeah. And so in my sense, there's a great master, Ramana Maharshi, and he describes tons of things in a lot of different ways. But one I really like, which is, what is fully realized at all times. So there's not so the event of becoming awake, if it really carries through, it tells you it's never been different. It was always that state. So did you actually have an event to become awake? Because if you have that event to become awake, part of what downloads I would sense would be that it's always been this way. So I think it basically negates the whole storyline of growing to a position or to a point. When you seem to have grown to that point, the point says that was all pointless. It's always been this way, yeah? So, yeah. So I don't know. And a lot, in a way, let's say a seat assignment changes. So a seat assignment is you're a devotee or a great devotee, or let's say a prayer, a person who relied on prayer. Hey, the music came on. You got to get out of this chair and then find out where you are now. Maybe you're not gonna find yourself in the choir. You're not gonna find yourself in a pew. You're somewhere else now. Yeah. And it's just a simple acknowledgement of that. So, yeah. And if you're in AA, you pray twice a day anyway when you go to meetings.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that all right, Mayor? Where are you?
I'm here. Thanks, Paul.
I keep you. You're welcome, honey. Oh, we have another question down here from a variety that grows in a tree, cocoa nut.
I unmuted Bill. He's next.
All right, we got to do Bill first, right above cocoa.
Well,
You two are
George,
so close.
and then
You're
there's
so
George.
close. Maybe you can combine both questions into one question.
And we don't see the same gallery view you do, so I didn't anticipate that, Paul.
All
So-
right, Bill.
Paul, thank you first of all I'm so grateful that Keith introduced us and I got to come to the Marin City
Oh
location.
yeah.
The world
I
shut
see.
down. Yeah, and I'm just grateful for your very clear and consistent pointings. They are, as was said earlier, incredibly crisp and simple and profound. So I'm grateful for that. The question I have is
Hold on one second. I'm making a note to call on Bill more often. Back to Bill.
sounding like one of Trump's people in these briefings. I have to kiss Paul's ass before I ask my question.
That's right.
I find that I get moments where there's a sense of spaciousness and not even moments. I'd say there are periods of spaciousness and a change in how I perceive, and then there resumes this stickiness with the feelings and the dramas and all the stuff of the action figure, as you call it. And what is confusing to me is why is it that why am I built this way? Why is it that what is so clear to me, what I am not, has not led to a shedding of that and a clarity that allows me to just be fully functioning in or being as what I know I am. What is that? And is there anything I ought to quote do at this point other than just carry on?
Well, I would carry on, but you have to see the two things you described is an illustration of the statement of duality, yes? So there's a crisp, clear, and then there's a, yes?
Yeah, that's exactly right.
This is the experiential realm. The experiential realm is a dualistic experiential realm. Expansion, contraction, expansion. And of course, when the expansion tends to go to the contraction, then the head that's playing, it's actually the ball in the ping pong game. It thinks it's something else, but it's the ball in the ping pong game. It goes, I want the expansion to stabilize. Yeah. And so that desire makes it produces like a hate for the other pole. And then you keep you're attracting this whole little game. Yes, yeah. Which is how it's going, and probably exactly how it's supposed to be. But you don't think so. So the traveling lighter isn't everything gets great and stabilized, life goes on as it's going on. It's like a juggler. There's two balls in, yeah? There's an experience, this and that. But it's stuck, yes? It wants to only catch one ball and deny the other one, but they keep the one ball, once you get it, turns into, yes, the other ball, yeah? This is the experiential realm. This isn't about having a utopian enlightenment on the experiential realm. It's about traveling lighter through the experiential realm, yeah? So basically, the destiny for the action figure, which could be either made up moment to moment or ordained, yeah? That destiny, you're probably going to run into what you were going to run into, but you'll see that you travel later through it, yeah? And the action figure that's so ravenous and wants more and more and stable and this and that, has some damn humility dropped in and acceptance, yeah? And now it's more of an acceptance of the duality of the place, not I'm willing to accept the duality so the non-duality can be the, no, it's just you accept things come and go. You know what I mean? There's an accept, and you don't accept it. The acceptance just appears and you're living in that atmosphere, so to speak, yeah? Even if it's begrudging to you, it doesn't matter. Something's overridden you, yeah? And now, the non-duality is not an experience. It's not an experience. You can't experience what you already are. Yeah, an experience is like a flash in a pan. Yeah, it wasn't there, then it's there, and then it isn't there. We see the reason why we can see experiences because there's a program that way. We're not seeing what's always here. We're not sensing what's always here. There's a great interest in the content, the action figure, and therefore there's a great interest in the content. And so it's sort of like when they used to do in the about 20 years ago in AA, you know, then the whole idea of smoking was bad. So they'd have an AA meeting, and one side was the no smoking, and the other side was the smoking. Where was the partition? Right? You couldn't partition. It was the same room. You could sit on the non-smoking side. It didn't matter. So you lose interest. Yeah, this isn't a liberation. There's a loss of interest in the need to be liberated. That's what it is. Yeah? For some reason or another, you see the comings and goings, you see the contraction and the expansion, but you don't see it from that alone. You see it from that which is in coming and going and that which is in expanding and contracting. Yeah? Absolutely. And that little flavor brings a lot of leavening into the mix, into the, you know, obviously, where there's agitation and we pin it on the agitation, then we hope for stillness. But like the great Zen statement was, you can't use activity to produce stillness. That would be activity. So you're not going to get out of the mix while believing you're in the mix. It isn't. It doesn't work that way. Yeah. The way you get out of the effects of the mix, yeah, is realizing there's nothing to escape from. Yeah. So finally, I've been trying to get out of me since I was 6 years old. It ended, I don't know, years ago. And I mean, it just was a rude awakening. I'm not getting out of here because there's no here to get out of. And that which wants to get out of here isn't even here anyway. So now I don't want to leave at all, and not because I've left. It's like when I'm in New Jersey, I want to really leave New Jersey. Yeah, but I never had that feeling I really want to leave New Jersey when I'm not in New Jersey. I don't. We say it, we try, you know, hey, You can't get out of an imaginary place. That's the whole point. Yeah. And this thing isn't going to be convinced. This thing isn't going to convince itself. It can be convinced, but not by itself. Yeah. It can't. Because the programming in this is it truly believes it can get out of self as self. It's believing that it's going to transcend when this body dies and it's going to go somewhere else. You may want to call it the soul, but it's the same thing you call Paul. It's thinking it's going to have another shot, go to another body. It has this whole cosmology to include itself in it forever and ever. Yeah. Self can't get out of self. Oh, so beautiful, man. This is a disarming message, not a call to arms. Yeah. This is very disarming. The surrender was inevitable and you're in the act of it right now. Yeah. 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 So just if this is working, just let it work. Yeah. It doesn't need you. It really doesn't. It doesn't. Just and that's the faith. Yeah. I remember the time I was in satsang. I'd been going to a few satsangs, like 2000, I guess, around that time, earlier. And this one time, not because of what the person said or not, I just knew it, you know? I mean, it was like I knew it before knowing anything. It was like an unspoken yes, and it's been reverberating ever since. And I would say it's the same for all of us. There's just maybe less resistance and then more resistance in some of us, yeah? But the fact is a fact. You are awakeness, yeah? It's just you haven't acquired it. You can't lose it. You're not blowing it, yeah? You're polishing it doesn't make it any brighter, yeah? Yeah, so I seen you, you came, I saw both of you. That willingness, that interest is the raft to the other shore, yeah? Yeah, and you'll realize you never left the other shore. So then you'll let someone else use the raft. And they'll get it also, yeah? The raft never arrives at the other shore. Yeah, you see the futility of the raft and the other shore while on the raft. You get out and some other jump on there. The raft that raft ain't taking you to any other shore. You're at the shore you'd like to arrive at already. Yeah. Yeah, so. All right, Bill, see you, honey.
Thank you.
Let's go to the next person.
There. No, they can hear.
No, oh, sorry, I was muted.
Coco.
Yeah. I've muted myself. Is that okay? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Coco.
Okay. Actually, I wanted you to sort of expand on something you said last Wednesday because it shifted something for me. The last couple of years, I've been actually telling Paul and mentioning it to friends on this path that I've completely lost interest in life, like completely. And I couldn't figure it out. I was really stuck. And I thought, I have no interest in things that I used to really like to do. And you mentioned it last week that happened to you. And what happened to me after you said that was I started to look at that. And I realized that basically I was being bitch slapped because basically the universe was taking all my interest away because I was clinging to them to keep the action figure. I was clinging to everything I used to do, but now I have no interest. And so who has no interest? I don't know, but there's just what's happening. But I would love you to expand on that more because you said that happened to you as well. You lost interest in things, just everything.
Well, it doesn't happen to you. It doesn't. Our language is so bad. You know, it didn't happen to me. I could see things change, and then I observed it. Yeah. Yeah. Over time.
Yeah.
There's no rote There's no way. Whatever it's going to do, it's going to do. There's familiarities with a lot of people. And of course, if the interest and attention has been enslaved to reinforce the idea of what you're not, yeah, you're going to lose interest and attention in a lot of things.
Yeah.
Because those things are used to reinforce what you're not. Yeah. Of course, the interest tension needs to be withdrawn and then redistributed. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I felt like I was drowning. So I was constantly grabbing. But no matter how hard I grabbed.
Well, definitely, you should have just started doing a breaststroke. You would have been better off.
Sorry, say that again.
Women with it, go, yeah.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Yeah. Well, I did. Yeah.
Fight
That was the shift. That was the shift last week, was that I went, oh, and I let go. And it's been
hallelujah.
Like a lot lighter.
Thank God. Thank God. I could truly happy about that. No, literally. Jokingly, but literally. I'm happy, Coco. Just just stay on the operating table. Don't get up. Don't play doctor. Yes. Yeah. See, you have it. That resonance that some of us get may have been forgotten, but it's not forgettable. Yeah. Yeah. It's still doing its thing. You just may not be seeing it, but other people do. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, just someone talked about faith and the idea of trust. You and I don't need any more faith. What's needed is a redistribution of the faith. There's a lot of faith in the thought system that's provoking a lot of anxiety. Yeah. And it's the faith that makes it so. It's not the thoughts about next week that make next week so. It's the faith in the thoughts. And the faith is rooted in the idea of being the thinker, really. Yeah. So if you can see the supply line and see how meaning is given to things, then maybe a lot of the confusion, that the action figure loves to live under, it loves to live in that cloud, of non-seeing, you'll see through it. Yeah. So yes, for a lot of us, the interest and attention was enslaved to the reinforcement of the identification. Yeah. So of course, it's got to be pulled back, shook off, and then let something else, and it's not a thing, but let it be directed by not self-centeredness, but let's say centeredness. We'll give it a name. Yeah. And you'll know the tree by its fruits. You'll see the interest and attention. I mean, if you're not 2 levels below a coconut, which you're not, you're going to observe how much value is being brought back by the interest and attention. That was always being like put into a bank of the future. Oh yes, one day you're going to get a big dividend, but you don't get the check now. Yeah. What happens now? You'll be interest and attention will be harvesting now. Yeah. What's available now? Yes. Yeah. And it's sort of like your hand, instead of being on the elbows, at the pulse. You're at the pulse of living. Yes. You're alive. You're awake and alive. And that's more than enough, really. Yeah.
It's much more.
And then the interest and attention isn't wedded to the enslavement. It's here now, and it's available to the changing of the wind, seeing the wind, the sun going through the trees, watching that little chameleon run down, or watch you're there for what's being presented, and the whole lot's being presented. Yeah. Here, there is a whole lot, and a lot of us, especially, can see it now because of we're in a self-isolation thing. A lot of people are confronted with, now that I stopped, I can really feel the current of time. Yeah. I can feel, now that I've stopped, I can now feel that thing that was pushing me on and on and on and on and on. the pause allows you to see the difference. It's beautiful in a lot of ways, yeah? So you can see, geez, I didn't know that was going on. I can still see people driving. We were on the road today. Basically, no one has anywhere to go, but some are still fucking going 85, 90 miles per hour. Basically, where are they going to get to? They're, you know, they're solitary spatial distancing or whatever. I mean, it was unbelievable. So you see a lot. So now people have the opportunity to say, hey, maybe I don't want to live like this anymore. Jeez, I had no idea I'm being pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed. I didn't feel wet, but it's like a current, like when you're in the ocean. Yeah. Suddenly there's a stop, and now you can really sense it. You can really feel timing going off. Yeah. And hopefully, you know, what happens when there's another possibility becomes available? Hey, find out. Yeah. But the mental state starves us from possibility. It does. It has a very myopic view, and all possibilities are mutated with time. So a lot of people are hoping, if I will be okay as a future arrival. Yeah. They're not okay now. And if you say, well, what about now? No, I will be okay. Yeah. Let me be unokay now for a long time, and I will be okay. Yeah. That's slavery. You and I not recognizing the change doesn't mean we're not in change. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm happy, honey, and just let it. You don't need to observe it till it's dead. Don't do autopsies on it. Just go. Yeah. Move on. The trek's not over yet. Yeah. Keep going. Yeah. All right, George, I think.
Yeah. Thanks, Coco.
Thank you, Coco. Looking forward to going to Toronto sooner or later sometime.
I had a couple questions.
A couple of questions.
No.
Oh, George.
Anyway, you're totally entertaining as usual. I love it. Good to see you. I picked up the Course in Miracles, and I want your permission. This is a good one. To insert higher power into the three. There's a lot of the word God in there, and I'm having a hard time with that, being a Buddhist practitioner for many years. Can I have your permission to put higher power when I'm reading this book?
Sure you can. And talk about permission. I'm giving you permission.
I'm joking. It's a joke in a way, you know, it's sort of a...
I know,
it's a
but I'm going to give
there.
you permission to send me $5,000 also.
Oh, geez.
Give you permission for that.
Thank you.
Very few people I give permission for that, really.
Okay.
So, George, you're the man. No, yeah. But remember, you know, whatever book you're reading or something, it's the mind before it, yeah? It's what we are. What we are is before the book. What we are is going to give life to the book, yeah?
Understood.
The book is a book. It triggers, it allows life to be given it because of its ideas and stuff, let's say, yeah? It's reverberating pretty well. So therefore, but, you know, I could read a phone book and seemingly have the same result as reading the Course in Miracles, because it's the mind that's before it all, yeah?
Right.
The mind, big M mind, is what's giving everything the meaning it has.
Okay.
So you use, for a while, there's a use of something, and it brings out, for me, the Course in Miracles brought a lot of laughter out, because it seemed to describe the mental, emotional, physical house I was living in pretty damn clearly, and it seemed hilarious, yeah, to me. And it hasn't stopped. I don't read it anymore. I don't you know, it's about
I don't want to read it. I really don't want to read it anyway.
In what you are, there's no bookshelves. In what you are, there's no bookshelves. Yeah, there's no, oh, Ramana, that's all great and gravy. But what you are is the most economical nothingness. There's not even a solution there. Yeah, in what we are.
Understood.
It just is, and it's. Yet that gives all the meaning to everything else. It's that juice, yeah, that everything, all the somethings and all the everythings come out of nothing in a way. Nothing is the mother and father of all, yeah. Yeah. So I honor books, I honor people, but it's not the person and it's not the book. It's us. Yeah. Yeah. So
Okay.
good to see you.
Good to see you. I'll mute myself.
Stay in touch, my friend.
Will do.
Thanks, bro.
We'll see you in Marin one of these days.
Oh, good. Yeah. All right, Donna. Is that my hairstylist from Ohio? Mike.
Yeah, Donna, you're up next, and I think you're unmuted, so you can start talking.
Donna? Z? There's Z. Nice to see you, Z.
I think Donna may be disconnected. No other hands up. Anybody want to? There she is.
Can you hear me now?
Can we hear you now? Yes.
Hey, okay, good. All right. I grabbed one of your books for a friend of mine, and I hadn't read it, and I thought I'd just look through it real quick on Having Never Left. And
yes.
I just got a little bit confused with their verbiage on verbing, selfing, and claiming. Would you be able to clarify those a little bit?
Well, verbing is obvious.
Right.
Yeah. So that's 1 out of 3.
Yes.
Oh, there's Jane. Nice to see you, Jane. Up there. In the Hollywood Squares. Yeah, you're up there, Jane. The other one is what? Selfing?
Selfing and claiming.
All right. Well, selfing is, selfing is the reinforcement of the claiming. So the claiming comes first before selfing. Yeah. So let's say you're conscious of something happening, be it a thought, a feeling, a physical sensation. Yes.
Yes.
So the mental state arises in time. So it doesn't rise at the same time. It arises after the conscious contact in time, a little later, yeah, which should tell you a whole lot. And that thing is, its modus operandi is to claim whatever happened, yeah, or is happening, to imply the one that's doing it or being done to by it, yeah. So that's the claiming. So the claiming is the first, yeah. The selfing is the reinforcement of that which was claimed. Yeah. So the selfing is a verb, it's verbing. The verb is selfing. And when the selfing seemingly works, there's a feeling of being the one that's doing the selfing, or the one that's being done to by the selfing. You see? So there you have it there. So the claiming could, at times, the claiming is actually, it's more of a movement and very closely associated with the selfing. And then the selfing continues to reinforce. Yeah, yes. But you have to see that there is a quality here that's not of time. Yeah?
Yes.
That's what we are. We're not of time. And then there's the qualities that appear in time. Yes?
Yes.
So let's say consciousness is sort of like the threshold between timelessness and time, okay? Just, it's not true, I'm just making a picture, okay? So the consciousness happens, you become conscious of a thought or a feeling, yes?
Mm-hmm.
That's what you would call the now, yeah?
Yes.
And then it takes, I don't know how long, some people say it's a second and a half, other research says it's a little longer, but then the brain, right?
Yes.
The brain occurs, and then it claims that with that experience that was brought about by consciousness, it claims to be the one who's having the experiencing or is doing the experience, yes?
Yes.
And this just goes on and on and on, mechanically. And what occurs is the horse, which is the now, let's say, and at that threshold of what the timeless and the time is now behind the cart. So that which comes after, which is the idea of you, is put before the conscious contact. Yeah.
Yes.
So now, when there's conscious contact, there's a feeling that it's Paul that's seeing, it's Paul that's hearing, it's Paul that's noticing thoughts, it's Paul. But Paul was produced after the fact. They do this simple test in simple science. They put a person in front of a moving clock, and that person has all these little, this is the first time I saw this example, was when I lived in Australia in the 90s, in 2000. And this physicist is there, they put all these things on her head, and she would fake like she was gonna stop the clock, the arm, or then another number. And all the while, the brain was firing about 2 seconds before making the choice, so to speak, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
And then the arising of her, or let's say use the word Donna was the claiming of those choices. They're not choices, but let's say the preference, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
It's a perfect example of exactly what we're saying. The claiming and the selfing is what happens after the conscious contact that uses the conscious contact by putting it after that and puts you, the idea of you, as before it, yeah?
Yes.
You cannot not see it. It's incredibly obvious, yeah?
Definitely.
So there's seeing, yeah, and the seeing is claimed, and then the world of seer and seen is engaged with, yeah? So the living, I would say, would be the seeing, the hearing, the feeling, the tasting, the touching, the thinking, the doing, all this, all verbing. The mental state claims the initial point, claims whatever is noticed to imply that there's a someone, a thing that's doing all this non-thing action, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
And suddenly now, there's a bondage of self. And then obviously, the self wants to get out of itself, and it runs into one of the fail-safe mechanisms, which is self can't get out of self. But people die trying, I'll tell you that.
So the selfing is trying to become something. So this is when the selfing's born, and it's trying to become something.
The selfing is the selfing is assuming you already are that.
Okay.
If you could see a becoming, that's the catching the selfing as a verb, because all the mental state does is in the act of becoming. It never becomes. It's always in the act of becoming a self. It can never be a self. So what it says, it was a self already.
Right.
So it's totally into becoming, because that's all it can do. It has no interest in being, yeah, because it ain't. It wants to become, and it will go on becoming for fucking ever. Yeah.
Right.
But
Right.
that which is thinking it's becoming is a made up became already. Yeah.
You're right.
So the selfing implies the noun, the self, and then the self thinks it's a historical self. Yeah?
Yes.
And then the best it can hope for, I want to unbecome what I already am, which is another fucking mutated up the ass of self activity.
Right.
You see it as you never became anything. You are. Yeah? You are, you is. Yeah. Yeah. You are not, were, and will be. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
A stated assumption that's taken as a fact, I was Paul, and a stated assumption that's taken as a fact in a future projection, I will be Paul, and then a huge assumption, therefore I am Paul now, is taken as a fact. Yeah? And now the fact wants to find the facts. Yeah? Just see what you're not. See it. See it. Yeah.
Thanks, Paul. That was excellent. Appreciate it.
All right.
Okay, we got Patrick up next. You can unmute yourself.
Oh,
Hey,
Patrick.
how you doing, man?
Patrick 2.
Patrick 2. Present.
Patrick of 2.
The one and only.
Wants to speak of the Patrick of 1
That's
with the
exactly
language
right.
of 2. It doesn't go. It's not going anywhere.
Well, we'll see how that goes. Yeah, I'm not hopeful. I
Great.
don't expect too much.
That's great.
Yeah.
Not hopeful is a very condition.
The past couple days, I got some good reading materials, people that you mentioned before, and the past couple days I've spent a lot of time just reading, and it has provoked a state from time to time that is somewhat new for me. It kind of the mind quiets as I'm like going back and forth between what I'm reading and kind of investigating awareness in a way that that doesn't require a lot of effort, and the state happens, and then afterwards I also see the claiming of that state and the story being created about achievement and progress on some path, even though the thing that I'm thinking
Just
about.
stop there for a second, Patrick.
Yeah,
Just stop.
yeah, please.
That's a whole lot.
Yeah, sure.
Because before you weren't seeing the claiming. Yes? There you go. So in a sense, the aperture has been reset. You got a lot more space. Yeah. Yes?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you can go into the next part, but it's nice to honor, because if you made that like a challenge that you have to go through 20 heroic events to arrive there, you would give it a whole lot more meaning. But that came so effortlessly is incredibly valuable in a lot of ways. Yeah?
Yeah. It feels valuable.
Yes. So then, like people used to go to the talks a lot and they'd say, oh, I love being here and everything sounded good. And then they go, and then they go off into a pledge allegiance of the action figure world. So sometimes I like to stop people and just say, hey, that's a nice, you caught a nice fish there, so to speak. Let's fucking grill that for a while. Let's not move on to the next, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate that. There's some trepidation or fear of, I see the claiming of achievement, but that's still happening. Like I am claiming it.
Don't worry about that. Don't get caught up in that. That's just bullshit anyway. The head just wants to play policeman, thief, policeman. Just, yeah. Just let it do what it's going to do. Yeah. Read the book if you like. Do that if you like. It doesn't matter. You can't really make a mistake, bro.
Good point.
Yeah. You can't be, exiled from the game. It's impossible. Yeah. You are what you're looking for, literally. What's looking doesn't have to complete any requirements to be what's looking. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I hate when I meet people and they find something they really like and then they have a philosophical way of pissing all over it, hey, I like reading books, but I shouldn't like whatever. It's just many things do you actually get a chance to enjoy and then have a like spiritual thing piss all over it. It's insane. I know people, you'd tell me, oh, Paul, I really like this. I really like what you're saying. Do you think I should come and see you? I said, well, if you really like it, yeah, I would. That's what I would do. If someone was saying something I really liked, I'd go see him. That's what I would do. Well, oh, but I don't know if I should go, what's that? Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm going to put you in a very healthy square, Patrick. Yeah? Remember, though,
that's good. I'll take that to heart.
the excessive intelligence, don't clothe it like a Sherlock Holmes.
Thank you, Paul.
Yeah, no,
I appreciate it.
Yeah, take the pipe from him and the little hat, and just fire that. Yeah. Yeah.
On it. Thank you.
Are you still here? Yes. All right. Thanks, bro. Travel well, my friend. Stay in touch.
Will
Please.
do. Thanks, Paul.
Thanks, Patrick. Did anybody else have a question?
You're right.
Joyce just joined us. Hi, Joyce.
Don't stoke Joyce.
No, she's in the healthy square too, right?
Hmm?
She's in the healthy square. She can't talk.
Oh, good.
I
Well,
guess.
I'm just going to say hello to some of the people. James, Terry, friend from Australia. Very nice to see you. Ben, you have a question, Ben? Ben would like to ask a question.
I unmuted him.
Ben, can you say anything?
Wait. No, it won't.
Okay, yeah, I've unmuted myself. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a question. I got a download yesterday. I wanted to read to you. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. As long as it's not like 12 pages.
No, it's not that long.
All right, good.
Yeah. Anyway, like, I've been having these kind of rhymes come to me. I watch you a lot. I met you in London. I really like you.
Yeah.
Brilliant. So it's called Kill the Buddha. From a Buddhist point of view, I put on Pure Land robes that fit into my reflected view of the me that I put inside my imagined you. Kill that Buddha that claims each thought and action that lives in linear time, that is so quick at claiming every act or reaction as being one of mine. Who could kill another thought that really is not mine? A million trillion thoughts witnessed and taken to be mine, each one spoken by a Buddha made up to give comfort of a story of life lived for a purpose that's always in the mind. A Buddha says fucking wanker, followed by another that says stop being so unkind. Then another pipes up with I'll do this or that, and another says you better not, you know it sends you blind. In every single atom of this great charade, all that takes place before my eyes is a great parade of simple truth accompanied by Buddhas telling me their incessant lies. I'll wave to the happy Buddhists on their float of loving kindness as they go by, and hope they all get enlightened before their life of effort passes them all by. Isms are an anathema to my don't like clubs, Buddha's way, but there's another likes a bit of contemplation mixed into my worldly play. I just can't seem to raise the energy to hope for some great revelation day. So I'll just bounce along the pathless path that goes the endless way and try as best I can to keep that cynical Buddha's voice in me at bay and give more space to the one that chants it's just a game to play.
Oh, Ben, thank you. Hey, Ben, try to send me that one.
Yeah, how do I do that?
Can you? You have my
I'm getting
website.
a lot of these lately. It's kind of weird. I'm just getting these rhymes and they come really effortlessly, and I have a lot of fun with it. It's a bit
That's
like you
a
were
nice-
saying to somebody. Yeah, I mean, it's sort of a lot of that's inspired by you, by your wording, by your wording of things. Yeah.
That's good, man. I enjoyed it. Thank you very much.
Great.
But please send it to me if you can.
How do I
won't
do
steal
that?
it from you. I won't steal it from you, but
Steal whatever you
we may
like.
put it to use. Yeah, we may
Yeah,
put it to
yeah.
you.
Yeah,
All right,
great.
let me, any more questions? Or that was awesome. Thank you. Let me see. Deepak, you okay? Nice to meet you. Can we unmute Deepak? Say hello. Mike?
Good to see you, Paul.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, good to see you. I was wondering, like, you always say your emphasis is on what is not, to see what is not. Is there any way, like, the people describe the open spaciousness or awareness, trying to be in that, like someone said, marinate in your being? Won't that also help?
Well, you are that, bro. You're already in that. Not you're in it. I mean, you already are that. That spacious, whatever. Yeah? Already. Yeah. All we need is a reminder of what we're not. Yeah? And then the obviousness of what we are is found out. Yeah. Found out. In other words, you're not going to arrive there because you are there. So you'll find out exactly that. Yeah. And hopefully it'll bring a traveling lighter into this world for you and others. Yeah. Yeah. And really, what more do you want? Yeah. So just keep it simple in a lot of ways. Just check out, it only makes sense. Let's say Ramana said this thing, he framed it as the greatest mystery, which is, I'm paraphrasing it, yeah, but the greatest mystery is reality wanting to attain reality. Yeah. Now, what interests me in that is, well, how could reality seem to arrive at that point of wanting to attain reality? Yeah. There must be something that reality is partaking in, because nothing can fool reality but reality. Yes. Or as our friend Ben was sharing, all the Buddhas. Yeah. Yeah. So the only way it would make sense for reality to have such a longing to attain reality would be if it was taking itself to be something else, right? I mean, I don't see, there's not that many other possibilities. So maybe all that's needed to attain what's already there is to see you're not that which wants to attain it, yeah? And then the descriptions, when there's a clarity about what you're not, then when you hear descriptions of what you are, they'll land somewhere, yeah? they'll become a sense feltness. It won't be like the frustrating idea is, I know it, but I'm not feeling anything. You know, I know, yes, but you'll bypass all the knowing, and there'll be a sense of it. Yeah. So you'll find out what you already are and always have been and always will be, and nothing's ever going to change that. Yeah. Now, of course, what you're not has an agenda. It would like to know that, so that everything that it doesn't want to be happening wouldn't, and everything it wants to happen would stabilize. Yeah. But that's a dream of what you're not. Yeah. So at least let's get the horse in front of the cart. And maybe you want to go use the horse and the cart like a chariot of the gods far out, but at least there'll be an alignment, like a correct alignment. All right. So the horse in front of the cart, and maybe you won't even want to move. You'll just be cool with the horse in front of the cart without going anywhere. Who knows? I don't know, but I would like to see, yeah, because this is so beautiful. Like the Course would always imply this. It would be like, this is a correction. When the correction occurs, there was no need for a correction. Yeah. So basically, something that was imagined was finally seen as imagined. Yeah. So there was no need for a solution because there wasn't a problem. Yeah. From the problem, there's a huge need of a solution, but from the solution, there is no problem. No matter how many years it appeared or how persistent it was, there was no problem. Yeah. So there's no need even for a solution. That's how light the traveling is. It's so economical, you don't even need a solution anymore. Yeah. Because who does for an imaginary problem? Yes, bro.
Thank you.
We just shared one of those Zen bitch slap moments. You know, it's funny. You ever see those? They have the in boxing when the two boxers knock each other out at the same time. It's really cool. One throws a left, the other throws a right, and they both collapse. And then the referee doesn't know who to. That's us, bro. That's what just happened. Deepak and Paul just got knocked out at the same time. The referee doesn't know who to stand over. And the strategy is not to get up. Stay knocked out. I like you, Deepak. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yes, thank you. Sharon, nice. Everything's well there. Dennis, he's there. Ben, thanks so much. I'm going to say goodbye to everyone with the hopes that I'm actually going to leave. If I start saying goodbye, maybe we'll get the point. Izzy, nice to see you, Iz. Let's all travel well, Izzy, eh? Travel light, yes. Keith, nice to see you. I see Terry, Dennis, James. Let's go to the next box. Coco, Alan, thanks a lot. Nice to meet you, Alan. Randy, you're not on a wall or a floor. That's good. Life's getting better for you. Dimitri, thank you. Monir, I think. Did I get it right? Z, one of my favorite people. Mike and Nick, sort of like Beavis and Butthead in a certain way. There they go. We got Richard in front of, it looks like the Golden Gate. Ooh, awesome. And this is Jurgen. Jurgen, nice to meet you. Yep, I'm going to go to the next one. Jane, my handler, the greatest organizing principal I ever ran into. Australia. Donna, my hairstylist. Something's happening, G. Haircut. Brahmi, nice to see you, Brahmi. Sean, nice to see you. George, Bill, and I don't, what's your better half? I forgot her name.
It's Marie.
Marie, Bill and Marie.
Yeah.
I'm going to say it's Marie and Bill.
Exactly.
Put the horse in front of
Exactly right, Paul.
Patrick too. Yeah, I can't see. Nardeep. Patrick again. A lot of other people. I don't see pictures. Hey, thanks so much for having me and having us. And I wanted to share Tuesdays and Thursdays we do the 10:30 Pacific time 12-step stuff. It will be steps 8 and 9 tomorrow. And then Wednesday, it's now at 7 Pacific time. And then Saturday is at 1, is it 1:30 still? 1:30 Pacific time. I hope I see you, and we'll just keep Zooming. Yeah? See you, Ben. Thanks. See everybody. Mike? Where
Yeah.
are they? Mike, Nick?
Here we are.
Good job, Paul.
All's well?
Great.
Okay. See you guys. See you, Nick.
Okay,
See you.
bye everybody.
See ya.
Bye, bye Amelia.
Hey, Jane, we'll call you. Jane, we'll call you. Yeah? Yeah. All right. See you guys.
See you later, mate.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
So did you talk with Sharon? Are we staying on for